Kaufer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Although I believe this is the direction that we should be going in, I do believe we should have a larger conversation about this hotline and where our helpline should be. I'm a supporter of our 211 system, and I hope after we work with Representative Bloom, who's working on legislation, that we could get this fixed and be done that way. But for now, I'm going to withdraw this amendment.
And Representative Kaufer also offers Amendment 490, which the clerk will state for the record.
A490.
And Representative Kaufer on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Only in Harrisburg can the idea of legalizing credit card gambling be considered a good idea. Only in Harrisburg. I've talked with plenty of people out on the streets who cannot believe that this is even something that we're discussing in Harrisburg today. March is Problem Gaming Month, and actually we just passed a resolution, I believe, that 7 million problem gamblers in the United States. According to debt.org, there's 23 million Americans into debt because of gambling, and the average loss is estimated around $55,000. You can go online and look up problem gambling, and there's a few things that are consistent across the board. All compulsive gamblers, before they can win, they try to win back their money. It's called chasing losses. Their view stems from the idea that the problems they face comes from a lack of money. As a result, these individuals are relentless in trying to attain more money to gamble. And I quote, "A credit card in the hands of a gambling addict is a recipe for disaster." I have a letter here from Wyoming Valley Alcohol and Drug Services, from the CEO, to whom it may concern. Wyoming Valley Alcohol and Drug Services, Inc. is an outpatient addictions facility that treats individuals for gambling addiction. Each year, we see many clients whom have had their lives destroyed due to problem gambling. We are aware of possible legislation that may allow patrons of casinos to utilize their credit cards to access gambling. In my professional opinion, this type of legislation would only increase the gambling problem which already exists in the area. Anytime accessibility is increased, problems increase as well. We as an agency have seen individuals lose jobs, become involved with the criminal justice system, commit suicide, and lose relationships due to excessive gambling. From a clinical perspective, allowing patrons to utilize credit cards to gamble will only create more problems. As the CEO of this agency, I truly believe this specific legislation will only add more fuel to the fire for those who partake in gambling. I ask you to please carefully examine this decision, as I am confident it will drastically increase the amount of individuals who will suffer from a gambling addiction. On a matter of information, I think it's important to clarify, because I think within our caucuses there was some confusion. There is a clear differentiation between debit and credit. This legislation would continue the prohibition we currently have on credit card gaming. This is keeping in law the prohibition we already have on credit card gaming. That is what I'm proposing, to maintain that prohibition. There will only be problems created if we legalize credit card gambling. And I implore my colleagues, please support this amendment. It is absolutely critical to people that cannot control their own spending when it comes to gambling addiction. I urge my colleagues to vote yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'm glad that we can reach across the aisle here and have support. Never before did I think we'd have support on an issue from Representative Vitale to Representative Saccone. It really is a pleasure to see that on the House floor. But my colleague from Luzerne County mentioned that this would be a colossal change. And I agree with him. This is a colossal change. We currently have a prohibition on credit card gambling. We are about to change the long-standing prohibition that we have in Pennsylvania if we do not adopt this amendment. And in regard to my colleague from Lebanon, who talked about different things that you can buy with your credit card, compulsive and problem gaming, the drug is access to more money. We are laying out that path for people to have easier access to more money that they don't have. I implore my colleagues once again, I urge them for a yes vote on this amendment. Continue the prohibition on credit card gambling. It is a path we do not want to go down in this Commonwealth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.